I even ask people, like, are you okay if I pray for you? Do you love the Lord, or are you a Christian? Like, I ask people ahead of time, and that's only when they're in rough situations, child. So if I ask you that, just know you're in a bad, bad pickle. I live in the South. I'm reminded of racism all the time, and I have been called a nigger by my neighbor when I was growing up. I have been called a coon by my neighbor when I was growing up, because pit bulls on me and my sister as I was growing up. I've been at work and had a customer call me the N-word. I have lived in the South where I go to work and it's clear that I'm being treated differently because I'm a Black female. Hey y'all, this is Tamika, the face behind Hey HR, and I am very, very excited to tell y'all about another set of amazing books. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you, because I want them people to be like, I read all of these books. Child wag at the time. But I do have 6 books that I know for sure I'm going to read. Ironically, I haven't read any of them, but 3 of them are brand new, and 3 of them are just like eye catchers for me. Cool? And I'll say 4 of them are brand new, because I bought one in the airport when I was coming back from somewhere. If y'all want to know about 3 books that I think is absolutely amazing for any of you struggling with diversity in the workplace, or just struggling with diversity within yourself so that you can get comfortable with that diversity in your career path, then definitely keep watching. I am so excited to finally say that I know some of these authors. Like, for real, I am very, very excited. Had no idea these girls were cooking up these books. Actually, like, kind of pushed me to say, Mika, you should do the same. Everybody's been telling me I should write a book. But child, where I get time to I haven't even read these books, so how can I write them? But let's first start with Brieanna Lightfoot Smith. And I really, really like this book. It's brand new, hot off the press, y'all. She is someone that was also in the eBrand Club with me with Earn on Demand, and she is just plummeting through this world, like through great, great levels. And so this book is The Black Girl's Guide to Living on Purpose for Women. And y'all, I'm telling you, when you figure out your purpose, when you understand what it is that you're here to do, and when I say understand, because for the longest I struggled with that, right? I've read books about purpose and finding your purpose, and I kept saying, what is that? I don't know what that is for me. But for me, it's something that you do willingly and easily, and then you see immediate reward. So I personally think that my passion, my purpose, my vision, my destiny is to have worked in HR and then connect that experience with teaching other folks about HR. There was such a lack of resources in that space as I was growing my career that I feel like that's my destiny, right? I feel like that's my story. That's where I should be. Even if I don't retire as a human resources professional, I've lived 12 years of what my purpose is. I never feel like I'm going to work, things like that. But I will tell you that this book can help you discover that purpose, get comfortable with that purpose. And it's very difficult for us as minorities, particularly African-American females. So any minority can find a great benefit in this book. I know Bree personally, and I'm so proud of her. Like, I'm proud of her. So I can't wait to dive into this one. I literally am working on some massive projects for Hey HR, and work has been wild. But the minute I take some time off or get on somebody's airplane to go on another trip, this is going to be my read. So I highly, highly suggest it. I'll put the link down to it below. I lied. I did read one of these books. Okay, I thought I didn't read any of them, but I did read this one. This one, it just kept coming up on my Amazon feed. So this one is I'm Not Yelling, A Black Woman's Guide to Navigating the Workplace by Elizabeth Leiba. I don't know her, but when I tell you, I got in this book and I was on the flight and I just forgot that I was on the flight. Like, just kept going. And I absolutely love it. I love how loud the cover is, obviously. But in addition to loving that, it gave me a connection of somebody that understood how I feel being an African American in a corporate workspace. Because as much as people want to say, DEI is not a focus, I felt uncomfortable majority of my career. I won't say my entire career, but majority of my career. And so this book kind of helps you with strategies and recommendations to give Black women a framework for emotional support, business success, and healing from racial trauma. Y'all, I have had that in my career, like, real talk. I'm not one of them people who just out here being like, oh, they did this against me. Child, full-blown evidence. Have gotten comfortable severance packages because I told them, hey guys, you guys know that I know you did X, Y, Z. just pay me the money, I keep them out closed. Because that's what severance packages are for, so that you don't sue them. And no one would pay you out a comfortable severance or more than you asked for if they didn't feel like you had some right to that money. And I will tell you, I got offered pennies compared to what I got. But that's because I knew that I had experienced racial trauma for myself, witnessed it for others. It also helps you with solutions to many instances of racial inequality and discrimination in the workplace. Y'all, I say it all the time. Hey HR was created because I saw so many disparities amongst minorities, mind you, I didn't say just black females, but minorities in the corporate workspace. And so this book just felt like home for me. It also helps you with actionable steps for possible pitfalls, such as microaggressions, lack of mentoring, and pay inequity. All the things that happen, right? All the things that happen. More the reason why I created mentoring options for HR, because we don't really seem to find that. And I absolutely talk about microaggressions all the time and equality whenever I am mentoring my mentees, and they find it so helpful. Child, they get results. So I love this book. I did read this book. Totally forgot that I read this one. Just found it on Amazon. Put the link down to it below. Now, surprisingly, I went to college with this amazing author, and I'm so proud of her. She has been like hitting the floor running since I met her in college. She's been a leader from the time I've seen her. And then when she moved from South Carolina to DC, like she just flourished. So I was always excited of seeing what she did, because she had a pretty non-traditional career, in my opinion. And so when she came out with this book, I was like, oh my God, love it. It's called Evolving While Black, The Ultimate Guide to Happiness and Transformation on Your Own Terms by Chianti Lomax. Y'all, I love me some Chianti Lomax. We kind of worked together. We're in college from a distance, but we had connecting friends and things like that. For quite some time, she did not know, but I was totally I-spying her because I wanted to be in the same sorority she was in, which is Delta Sigma Theta. That did not happen for me due to being a domestic violence victim at the time and pushing through that headache. But I will tell you, she showed me everything I thought I wanted to know, because I was waiting on leaks to be like, oh no, I don't need to do this. I was excited when she was dropping this book, because she just dropped this book. Like, she just dropped this book and she just dropped her book. Brieanna and Chianti just dropped their books like the same time. But when she dropped her book, she was doing a bunch of lives and sharing like what we could tell in this book or what we could understand. And a lot of it hit home, like feeling that verbal abuse at younger ages based on things that we say in minority communities that we don't realize impact us. Like, one example is she said she went away to college, and then she went away and moved to DC for work. And she came back home and she saw her grandmothers and her aunties, and they were like, oh, you're not getting all kind of weight. Well, on the flip side of that, because nobody wants to hear that, oh my God, I'm fat. On the flip side of that, if she had lost weight, this is something she shared during that live. She was like, they would have said I was sick. So you can't win for losing. Where do I go? Where do I go? Anyhow, if you want some clarity on these things that we've experienced that we feel a little weird about because it's supposed to be normal, but we don't feel like it's normal, this is the book for you, my friend. This is the book for you. So now these three are three that I saw and they just stopped me. And I was just like, I should read this book. So they're on my list. They're not a priority books, but I'm super excited about them. If any of you read them, please leave it in the comments and let me know, because then that helped me decide which one to dive into first. But I saw this one in the airport and it kind of really caught my attention. The crazy thing is I saw it in the airport and wherever I was going to. And I was like, no, Mika, you don't need to buy another book. Like, you just need to read your books. And then I got to Charleston's airport and it was there too. And I was like, damn, this is a sign I should buy this book. Or opposite, saw it in Charleston and then I saw it where I got to. And I was like, this is a sign I should buy this book. Not a sign that it's just marketing and they put it in all the stores. Anyhow, so this book is We Can't Talk About That at Work. How to Talk About Race, Religion, Politics, and Other Polarizing Topics. And this is by Mary Frances Winters and Marisha Reese. It's a guide for bold and inclusive conversations, y'all. I'm pretty stoked about this book because I think that too often, child, I work in human resources. When I tell you these are three things that I vowed to myself I'll never talk about in work. And I don't. In 12 years, now I might talk about race a little bit, but religion and politics, I stay away from that. I even ask people like, are you okay, if I pray for you? Do you love the Lord, or are you a Christian? Like, I ask people ahead of time, and that's only when they're in rough situations, child. So if I ask you that, just know you're in a bad, bad pickle. But I thought this one was interesting because these are truly the topics we don't talk about. And of course, that title is going to stand out to you. We can't talk about that at work. Child, HR will be yelling at. So these two books are two books that I saw, my last two recommendations. These are two books that I saw in our library at work again. Yeah, y'all, I had to take a lot of books out the damn library. We get snacks and drinks and t-shirts and all kinds of stuff at that office. But when I tell you I snag the books, baby, I be snagging the books. And I do snag the snacks. But and I work in HR, so I don't feel right drinking at work. And we had something else. Oh, t-shirts and stuff. I grabbed those. But listen, this book really caught my attention, and we had several of them. So this book is called Equality: Courageous Conversations About Women, Men, and Race to Spark a Diversity and Inclusive Breakthrough. So it is by Trudy Burgeois. And I really, really think that this is going to be a page turner. Even if it's not, it'll be insightful, right? So I'm excited about it. I was really surprised. Well, I guess I shouldn't have been, but I was kind of surprised to see that it was a black female, because I don't know why I thought it would be somebody different. I guess because it says men. And like, I'm interested to see what somebody says, but personally, I'm rarely ever interested to see what a black female says, because I feel like I hear what black females say about it all the time. I'm excited because I feel like when we write a book, particularly one that is this thick, we've done some work with it, and she has someone else that did the forward. I mean, she has some really good reviews on it. So I'm excited to see what it says, but I'm gonna be honest with y'all, this isn't at the top of my list. This isn't at the top of my list. Now, this one has been out in the streets for a long time, and I only got like the key points book, or the short version. I think I am either going to be traumatized, it's going to trigger my PTSD, or I'm going to get really upset if I read the long one. So they had several of the short and the long, and I was like, nah, Mika, just get the short book, because this might be too much for you. But this book is a summary, an overall summary. I need to read every little detail. Summary of White Fragility: Why It's So Hard for White People to Talk About Racism, and it's by Robin Diangelo. So I've heard the book White Fragility for a long, long time. I mean, come on, y'all. If y'all ain't heard of this book, then you're under a rock if you have not heard of White Fragility. It's one of them topics that people talk about when ain't nobody in the room, or when they think you on 101 and it's a confidential thing, they'll be like, so did you read White Fragility? So I never read it because I live in the South, where I'm reminded of racism all the time, and I have been called a nigger by my neighbor when I was growing up, and I have been called a coon by my neighbor when I was growing up. I've had him sick his pit bulls on me and my sister as I was growing up. I've been at work and had a customer call me the N-word. I have lived in the South, where I go to work and it's clear that I'm being treated differently because I'm a black female, and so I need no more of it. So I was like, we could do the summary and see if you can do that. Y'all, this on the last of my list. I ain't a big fan, but I do want to know what the streets are talking about, because this was a very popular book amongst so many different races, right? Not just black and white. So I want to read this one. I'll put the link to it down below as well. You guys can grab it. So I definitely did those books in orders of the books that I'm excited about, kind of, sort of. Because my first three, I'm excited about all three of them equally. Like, honestly, I'm excited about all three of them equally. I hope these books help you guys with those difficult conversations. Personally, it's not only helped me with difficult conversations to learn more about diversity, because for the longest I felt like diversity was, African-American people too, or primarily African-American females. Well, working in a global company, I realized it wasn't. And secondly, like, reading more books like this, listening to podcasts, watching things on like YouTube or even documentaries has been super duper helpful. So I'm hoping that books will help me as well. And I'm very, very excited to finish reading I'm Not Yelling. Some of my mentees have seen this, and folks that got in resume reviews, because I give a little bit of a analogy between a book and a resume, and I've highly recommended this book to them too. So, and if any of you have seen me recommend this book to you and you read it, please let me know. Matter of fact, and don't let me know what's in it, because I'm gonna finish reading it. I'm putting it right back in my office and taking it out of my recording studio so I can jump back into it. Alrighty, so if this is your first time watching a Hey HR video, welcome, 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 my friend. I'm Tamika Green, and I've been working in human resources for the last 12 years. I started as an HR assistant, grew up to an HR director, and now I happily sit as a global human resources business partner. And for those of you who are returning, child, I hope you enjoyed these books. What do you think? What do you think about these books? Let me know what you think about all these book lists. I wasn't planning on doing like a diversity blog about books. I can definitely feel like these are like the suggestions I would put in there in addition to others. But I only like to put books that I'm attracted to, because when we start talking about diversity, inclusion, race, like very touchy topics, I like to be comfortable with pushing stuff in your face. Anyhow, at the end of the day, y'all already know what time it is. I cannot wait to see you on the next video.